Hi, I'm Candy Randolph, and today we're going to talk about a weekly self-care plan for women like us who are over 50. I talk quite a bit about and write about and try to practice in my daily life, morning routines, even a bedtime routine. And that works for many people. The morning routine that I have is excellent for me. It really helps to keep me on track. But for some women, that's too much. Doing certain things every day is just not part of who they are. So that's where a weekly self-care routine could be very helpful. You're not trying to set up certain activities every day, but you know that you need to take care of yourself. So setting a goal of doing something once a week might be more realistic. You would think, as women in our 50s and 60s and even beyond, that setting aside the time and being able to take care of ourselves on a weekly basis would be pretty simple, right? We are very possibly retired, semi-retired. We, should have a fair amount of free time, but we know that life doesn't work that way. We might be caring for a loved one, and I know from experience that's all consuming. We might be helping with the grandkids, maybe still working part-time, possibly doing a lot of volunteering, local organizations at church, or whatever you might be doing. And it's good stuff, but ultimately that can take you away from caring for you, which is, if your life is out of balance, if you're giving, and you're not caring for your own health, things are not going to go so well in the long run if that continues. The other thing that can happen is, yes, you are retired. You're not working. You have a lot of free time, and sometimes it's too much free time. And getting motivated to do anything on a regular basis can be tough because you just kind of float through the days. And for some people, that's cool, that works well. For other people, it can almost be depressing. So a weekly self-care routine is something that can give you motivation and goals in a way to work towards, or to know that are going to happen on this day at this time. My goal is that I'm going to do this for me. So that's where a weekly self-care routine can be really beneficial, kind of if you're at either end of that spectrum. So we're going to focus on self-care on a weekly basis and take a look at some of the things that you can do very specifically to set up a plan for yourself and weekly self-care. Let's see what they are. A weekly self-care routine that works for you. How do we define self-care? Well, according to the World Health Organization, it is defined as the ability of individuals, families, and communities to promote health, prevent disease, maintain health, and to cope with illness and disability with or without the support of a healthcare provider. In other words, self-care means what we do to stay physically, spiritually, and emotionally healthy. It includes things like listening to our body. We want to be active and fit, but we also need to know when it's time to relax and refresh. We need to know enough to seek medical assistance at times, eat right, and also revive our mind and our spirit. There are different ways that you can put into place a weekly self-care plan. You might want to take one or two simple self-care routines and insert them into your weekly schedule because that's more manageable for you. You might be the type of person who just needs the spontaneity. You'll take a 10-minute break a couple of times a day, or make a cup of tea at some point in the afternoon. Or you might be someone who really likes to have a schedule. So you could set aside a block of time each week for self-care activities. That might be what makes you feel the most comfortable and most likely to implement a weekly self-care plan. So what do these self-care activities involve? Well, here's some suggestions. First, set a goal to eat right. Plan out your meals 1 week in advance and shop accordingly. Or maybe decide that once a week you're going to have a really healthy breakfast, but make it specific, whatever you decide to do. We all know that we need to work out and be active and get aerobic exercise and strength training, but in addition, we just need to be active. Set aside time to go for a walk, play some tennis or golf if the climate is willing to let you do that. Go dancing, but do something. Get up and move. Think about what works for you to reduce stress. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's getting a massage. Maybe it's reading like I'm doing here, or just sitting down and watching your favorite TV show. Anything that helps you de-stress. That is certainly an action you can work into your weekly self-care plan. And how about hobbies, the things you enjoy? Go ahead and schedule some weekly time for it. It really is okay. Whether you like to go swimming, you enjoy painting, you want to take a photography class, maybe it's the dancing again that you really enjoy. But think about it. Set aside time for it because you need it and you deserve it. Spending time with your friends and your family is also a part of taking care of yourself. So whether you get together weekly for lunch, have a Zoom call periodically, get some family time scheduled, whatever it is, that's really part of taking care of yourself too. It's fulfilling that need to spend time with those people that you are the closest to. And go outside. It's such a simple thing, but spending time in nature, whether it's like this, walking on a beach, if you're near the water, at a park, near a preserve, on a hiking trail, or even just taking a walk in your neighborhood. Go outside, breathe in the fresh air, give yourself that special time. Weekly time for mindfulness and meditation. How does that fit into your life? It could be a prayer in the morning, yoga before bedtime, listening to some relaxing music, taking a cat nap. Whatever works for you, put it into your schedule, even if it's just a couple of times a week. Make sure that you take care of yourself in that way also. A few weekly self-care tips for you to think about. Schedule your self-care time on days or times separate from family activities. Schedule your time once a week on the same day each week. If scheduling is too difficult for you, be spontaneous. That's fine too. If you set aside the time for self-care and fill it with what you need most at that time, it will be the most effective for you. So, how about you? Does your self-care need some assessment? Whether it's daily or weekly, it's really up to you to take care of yourself. And you know what? You're worth it. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe to Inspire My Style on YouTube.